When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. In fact, there are fewer border crossings today than when Donald Trump left office." The brave service members who gave their lives to this country, he called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Trump will do everything to ban abortion nationwide.
He was on a roll, just rattling off the debunked lies last night. But these are going to be the Democrats' talking points all week. How does the Trump campaign combat that?
Lie after lie after lie from Joe Biden last night. That is going to be his legacy. A liar, a divisive president, and the most corrupt and incompetent president this nation has ever seen. His own party knows it. That's why they staged a coup against him and installed Kamala Harris as their nominee. And you saw her also take the stage last night. Last night was really like just watching an alternative reality. They're pushing lies about President Trump, and they're not acknowledging the issues that matter to voters at home. Inflation, immigration. They did not acknowledge how they're going to tackle the border crisis. They didn't acknowledge that Kamala Harris is responsible for the inflation crisis that Americans are suffering from. They kept talking about their plan to help working families. Well, working families at home are struggling to pay for their mortgages on their homes, struggling to afford their groceries while they watch illegal immigrants be given free housing in American cities. So our plan is to combat their lies. Our plan is to continue to bring President Trump's winning message to every corner of this country, to make this country wealthy, safe, and prosperous again, and to also ensure that every voter understands that Kamala Harris is directly responsible for all of the problems that our country faces. She's been part of it for the last 4 years as vice president.
Yeah, and Trump has a very busy week ahead. I know a Michigan visit to talk crime and safety today, a North Carolina visit on national security with J.D. Vance tomorrow, and a visit to the Arizona border the day Harris is set to give her keynote speech. How important is it for Trump to be pushing his policies right now while the Democrats are trying to drum up joy?
Well, it's very important, and that's why President Trump is barnstorming the country. Between he and Senator Vance, they'll be hitting almost every single battleground state. President Trump will be in Michigan today to give a message on crime, safety, law, and order, something we desperately need right now in Kamala Harris's America. When you see illegal immigrants from all over the world storming our border, giving a free ticket to the city of their choice, and then committing heinous crimes, taking the lives in many cases of innocent Americans like Laken Riley, like Rachel Morin, like Jocelyn Nungare, the 12-year-old in Texas. May God rest their souls. They should still be here, and they would still be here if Kamala Harris actually secured the border and demanded law and order. So President Trump will be talking about his vision to demand law and order in this country and re-secure the southern border as it was in his first term in office, when there was a record low number of illegal border crossings when he left office and handed the border over to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Karoline, I want to ask you, so another new battleground poll came out. Trump leads Harris in just 2 of the 7 states, Arizona and Georgia. Is the campaign at all concerned by this polling that we've seen recently?
No, we are not concerned. We rightfully predicted there would be a little bit of a honeymoon for Kamala Harris, considering she has the entire mainstream media on her side. In fact, I saw a study yesterday that showed that 84% of the news coverage since Kamala Harris was appointed as the Democrat nominee has been positive. That's ridiculous. The media needs to start doing their jobs and demanding that Kamala Harris sit down and answer tough questions. And we will make sure that we keep the pressure up on not only the media, but also Kamala Harris herself. And as voters get to know Kamala Harris more and more, the less they are going to like her. She is a radical, dangerous liberal. Look at the streets of San Francisco, where she's from. They are riddled with crime, with homelessness, with our fellow Americans strung out on drugs, dying at the hands of Chinese fentanyl that is making its way over our border at record numbers. Kamala Harris has been weak on crime her whole career. She has supported ending private health insurance in this country, and now she has rolled out a communist economic plan. Price controls. We've seen this movie before in Cuba, in the Soviet Union, in Venezuela. There will be poverty and famine if Kamala Harris is given the keys to the Oval Office and allowed to implement her communist economic proposals. So it's our job to make sure every American understands that. And the more they get to know her, the less they will like her. We're confident of it.